What up guys, ThatzNOTmetal983 here to bring you another CD review. Now this is my third one in a row, yay for me, that I've done in the past couple of hours, and let's make a third to charm, shall we? And I'm going to be reviewing what is probably my most anticipated album of 2016. Like, there's a lot of my favourite artists bringing out new albums and, well, going to be bringing out and have brought out new albums, but this album was definitely my most anticipated when you're talking about eagerness, you know what I mean? Anyway, but this is what I'm going to be reviewing for you today. Yep, this is the 2016 debut album from the band Hacktivist, entitled Outside the Box. This is released under UNFD Records. Now, if you're from the UK, you have probably heard of Hacktivist. They are making a big name for themselves, supporting some great big bands, and also playing a load of festivals, and quite rightly so they should be, because they are a very original sounding band, in my aspect anyway. They managed to fusion together Djent and progressive metalcore with rap vocals over the top. Now, obviously, rap vocals over metal isn't a new thing. Obviously, Limp Bizkit and Body Count, amongst others, have managed to do it, and some people may even say Attila and stuff like that. But Hacktivist have managed to pull off a new style of doing it over Djent, basically. And I think it really works very well and works forever in their favour, because originality is dead in the music scene, but when original music comes about, it makes a big name for themselves, and Hacktivists are one of those type of bands. And they particularly made their namesake on myself when I heard their debut EP, self-titled, which I honestly say I fell in love with that EP as soon as it came out. I loved the Djent aspect, the clean production, and how really good it sounded, and then the rap lyrics and well, the rap style over the top really made it sound very original, and it put a smile on my face, because I love it when bands come up with original stuff like that, and it really does work very well. And since that EP, because it was obviously a while ago, they've released quite a few singles, including what was the first one? Elevate. These singles are on the album, by the way. Elevate, what was the other one? Deceive and Defy, and False Idols. And those three tracks I fell in love with. I honestly listened to those tracks probably about 40-50 times, something like that, and I honestly couldn't stop listening. They are such good tracks, and I've still got the single versions on my iTunes, because you'll see what I mean in a bit. But leading up to get the album, they announced it finally, and I was like, yes, finally, you're going to release some new material, especially on disc format. I was so stoked. I mean, I went out on release day and actually picked up the CD in physical format and brought it home, stuck it in my iTunes, and from the first track, excuse me, from the first intro track, Our Time, I was kicked back. I was like, yeah, this is going to be something good. And then the first official track kicks in with Hate, and I was just like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. Groove, grit, and that signature rap vibe over the top. I was just like, yep, this is going to be awesome. And throughout the entire progression of the album, it's pretty much sticking to exactly what Hacktivists know what to do, sticking that excellent groove and Djent feel throughout the entire album, but having those rap vocals over the top, and it delivers on so many levels. It's excellent music, in my opinion. Now, I have to say though, if you're expecting the same production from the singles what were released on this album, then I wouldn't get your hopes up, in all honesty, because this is an entirely different sound, and from what it sounds like, they've actually gone away and actually re-recorded the singles that they've done in the same style that the album is done. And I think that works better in their favour, because it adds to the production of the album, and you've not got odd mixes here and there, and one track might sound huge and another one doesn't, you know what I mean? But I have to say though, the new versions of the tracks sound heavier and more crushing than ever. And I think that's come mainly due to the new guitar tone that I feel like they've got. It's a lot more meatier, it's a lot more grittier, and it definitely has a bit more of an oomph to it and a pound in your face rather than a groovy-esque clean tone that it has on the singles, in my opinion. And I think it really adds a certain heaviness. It's not a stereotypical Djent tone. Maybe the cleaner parts are kind of Djent-esque, but the heavy riffing is, in my opinion, more of a metalcore style tone, in my opinion. And I think it sounds very well and definitely adds a bit more of a intensity to the album and a bit more aggression. The bass tone, it's kind of a bit more cleaner, a little bit more brushed up in the mix, in my opinion. It's a lot more cleaner than the guitar tone, but you would think it would be the opposite way around, the bass being a bit more muddier and the guitar being a bit cleaner, so it works well. But I think the way the tone works on this album, it definitely works those two instruments simultaneously, obviously. Excuse me. Anyway, the drums are very well played. There's a lot of groove in there, and I'm not talking about the groove like I was talking in the other albums, the other two albums that I've just recently reviewed, Entombed and Anthrax. It's more of a proper groove, like some odd timing, some ghost beats in there, and some polyrhythmic kind of grooves in there. Yeah, I learned a word, sue me. Anyway, but the drums are very well productioned, very huge sounding, like very impactful, very loud drums, and very well played, well executed on those drumsticks, and the cymbal work works so well. They've really wrote some very good time and stuff, and some stuff that really works well with the rap section. I mean, there's a couple of sections of like kind of interlude-y kind of stuff, which kind of take the notch down to a more mellow-esque kind of vibe, and creates a little bit of an atmosphere. But then you've got the rap vocals over the top, and it really adds well. There's a lot of intensity builds and a lot of intense moments, but then it can mellow out when you least expect it, and it keeps you on your feet and makes the album that more interesting, in my opinion, anyway. Vocally, now, I think the vocals, for both of the guys, I think the vocals delivery on this album feels like the more pissed off, the more agitated, there's a lot more emotion involved with there. Like, what's his name again? Jermaine. His vocals, I felt, were a bit too clean, a bit playing it safe, like not really getting into the metal-esque kind of tone, but it's still not a metal-esque tone, but you can feel a lot more intensity in his voice, a lot more aggression, especially on Elevate, where they've re-recorded the whole vocals, and it in a different vibe, and it really works a lot more better, in my opinion. It feels like they're actually meaning something when they're saying it. They're not just saying it to do rap. They actually want to do it, and they're executing it with passion and emotion, and that's a key thing that I look for when it comes to rap delivery, is feeling the emotion of what they're singing about. And also, I might as well add, Ben's vocals, his rap vocals are excellent as well. His delivery has always been a bit more aggressive on the choruses and stuff in the singles, but I felt there could have been a little bit more intensity. But he's really racked up his intensity, and there's a lot more half screams that he's tend to be doing now and again, and I really think he can deliver them very well, and it adds another flavour to the album. Like, there's not just rap, there's some excellent half screams in there that are well pitched and very well harmonised with the rap vocals, I might add. And I also would like to say that Tim's vocals, the guitarist, his vocals, his clean vocals, I really didn't expect the delivery that there were, especially on the song False Idols. And I know I'm focusing a little bit on the singles, but you hear me out. But his clean vocals on that track is excellent, very well well executed, and I can still feel the emotion. So he's really connecting well with the rappers on this album, and his cleans are really good on. I think it's I think it's No Way Back. I really like his delivery on that, and that will probably be linked in the description as well. I like to point out on Deceive and Defy, you won't find Charlie from Heart in Hand, or formerly of Heart in Hand, on this album. I don't know why they took his section out there, but his part is now being done by Jamie Hawk. Sorry, not Jamie Hawk. My bad. Jamie, what's his name? Jamie Graham of Heart of a Coward doing his point. And I feel like, for all Charlie's part was great, I think it sounded too much like Ben's screams a little bit, in my opinion. It didn't really have a bit of a original factor to it. But Jamie's voice on there, it sounds a lot more well executed, a little bit more diverse. And I think as soon as you hear that track, I mean, as soon as I heard it, I knew it was Jamie. I was just like, that's the singer from Heart of a Coward. It works well. And it really does work well. And I think the delivery that he does is, it adds a bit more of a heavier metalcore kind of vibe to it. And I really do enjoy it. Now, there's other guest vocals on here, like Asteroid Boys Asteroid Boys and Jot Maxi, I think it is. You can barely see it on the back, but that's why I'm like that. Moving on. On the song Rotten, I really enjoy that track a lot. It definitely has a bit more of a break, not breakdown, like a break and kind of interlude kind of vibe to it, and it really sets the pace back just enough. And then when Elevate kicks in, you're just like back to the metal, you know. But it really creates some really good atmospheres there, and definitely keeps the progression of the album at the forefront. Sorry. I might as well also say I really like Taken, the song Taken. That features what's his name? Rao Reynolds from Enter Shikari doing guest vocals. And I'm not a massive Enter Shikari fan, but I definitely feel that his delivery on that chorus is really well executed, and definitely has a very nice a really nice tone to it, and it definitely fits in very well with it. I think there's a lot of originality and a lot of likability to this album. I honestly think this is a great sounding album. There's a lot to like about it. Obviously, there's a lot that people might think, it's shit, or whatever. But honestly, this is not some like newcomer of Limp Bizkit, but this is honestly some great top-notch stuff. I urge you to check it out. It is fantastic, and it is, I have to say, going to be in with a shot of being album of the year. This is incredible stuff. I've been playing it non-stop since I got it, and I'm just going to play it all the more over the year. I have to say, for a score though, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Along with the others, I've just gave 3 9s in a row, but sue me. These 3 albums are honestly great, and they are going to stand the test of time. I just don't know who's going to be my album of the year. The year's getting on, and there's still so many great albums that I'm looking forward to. But this is honestly a great album, and definitely original sounding, and definitely something you should check out. If you're into Djent or groove metal, Djent, groove metal, or rap metal, or even maybe a little bit of new metal influence here, check this album out. It is great. I really enjoy it, and I think you need to give it at least a once over and see what your thoughts are after that. But yeah, now I'm going to go and have some tea, and I'm going to upload these videos. So, yep, I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.